Welcome to your daily dose of salt and light with myself, Nadine Ness. I am excited today. I'm excited because we're heading for an election. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Mark Carney yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was Sunday. Yeah, he called an election yesterday. And I don't know what date it's going to be. I'm going to bring it up here. This is going to be a short episode today because I'm planning on potentially Jonathan. I asked him, but he hasn't responded yet. Him coming and doing a show, and we want to talk about the election and what our thoughts are as to who we think is going to win. David is saying it's April 28th. So, April 28th, hopefully, we will have a new prime minister and not the one we currently have, Mark Carney. So, I'm going to cover a little bit of what they've said. Again, I don't have a lot. I'm hoping to be able to finish setting up the office to have dual guests, and hopefully my husband will come on tonight and talk about it if his day's not too crazy. And I know that Clyde Do Something is doing a show tonight, so maybe we'll make sure it's not right at the same time as them. But yeah, let's get started. This is what he announced. I've just asked the Governor General to dissolve Parliament and call a federal election on April 28th. We need to build the strongest economy in the G7. We need to deal with President Trump's tariff. Canadians deserve a choice about who should lead that effort for our country. It's so funny. That's what they keep using is economy. I have a few more videos too that I'm going to share with you guys without realizing they're the ones who destroyed and made our economy one of the weakest, if not the weakest, and I think it's the weakest in the G7. But the US is a part of the G7. He's saying we're going to be able to build one stronger than the US. I stand. I doubt that would be possible. We don't have the people, but maybe that's in their plan. Maybe that's in their plan of bringing in a ton of immigration. I just realized I didn't save it, but I have a bookmark. I have a tweet that was shared with Canada by Canada Proud that talks about the people that Mark Carney surrounded himself and what they believe for immigration. So we'll get into that in just a little bit, but I'll have to find it. I'll look for it when I play one of the videos, which I have a lot of videos today. This is one of the videos earlier on, I think a few days ago. Mark Carney had posted a picture of both Mike Myers. So if you don't know who Mike Myers is, he was in those movies. Or what's the name of it? Oh, help me out, listeners. I can't remember who where he's like a spy and he's like he's not well, he plays several different character. Dr. Evil. I'm waiting. What is the movie? I'm just going to search it. I can't believe I can't remember. Mike. He was in Shrek. Yeah. Austin Powers. Yes, thank you. I knew one of you would know. But anyways, I'm going to play this video. I just have to switch screens to be able to do it. Also, let me know where you're watching from. Say hi. The more comments there are, the more it shares it in the algorithm. Let's see. So I'll share this video and then I'll share what my thoughts on this are. Let me know too if the sound's working or not.
It's bullies. This is what I can't stand in the world. And we're the country that stands up to bullies.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I know that you will, but I hope we continue to be the good guys.
What does Canada mean to you? Like, how does it?
Canada means everything.
So much so he lives in the States.
Anything without Canada. The Canadian taxpayers subsidized our housing, gave me a fantastic high school. They had a television studio.
You get that education.
Yeah.
You get that perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talented, but you get the opportunity to express that talent. I mean, you are talented.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very kind. No, I got to
I mean,
work
I
at
think
this.
you're gonna do big things.
I hope so. Thank you. That's very nice. No, but I worked at the CBC. In fact, I
I didn't know that.
yeah, I did.
Do you think we should get rid of the CBC? Because
No,
there's a
we
guy who
should
says
keep
we
the
should just get rid of the
CBC.
CBC. Okay,
That guy's wrong. No.
But this thing about still being Canadian and
Yeah.
always being Canadian, and
So
it's about
lame.
values. It's about an attitude.
Mm.
You know, the attachment to this country that
Mhm.
gave you these opportunities, gave me tremendous opportunities. Obviously,
Going anywhere in the world and people find out you're Canadian, you're the good guy.
and sometimes
Mm.
you got to get those elbows up,
Yeah.
but only for as long as
They
it is
just-
necessary, and then you
They
go
just-
back.
I've always said that nobody should confuse Canadians' kindness with weakness.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I want to endorse you, by the way, because I think you're fantastic, and I think you're going to do great things, and you're
Sorry,
going to
I'm
protect
laughing.
Canada. And I think you're. It sounds like damning with faint praise, but I think you're reasonable, and I think the world needs more.
You know what?
Grown-ups. We need more adults, dude.
So I made a post this morning about this because I'm having deja vu. Is anyone else having deja vu here? Let's bring up the post that I did. I think it was this morning. Yeah. Here. I can already see Mark Carney's campaign mirroring Kamala Harris's campaign right down to the celebrity endorsement. Who's next on their list? And the hypocrisy of this endorsement. Mike Myers doesn't even live in Canada. He escaped to the US because the opportunity was greater in the US. And that's who you're going to get to endorse you when you first come out of the gate. So this is the first one. I say, who's the next celebrity on their list? I just find this kind of funny. There was another video as well. This is the second video. So they've done a whole bunch. Let's see if I can find the other one. I'll just search it quick. It's not on my list of Carney. Let's see if that comes up. I thought that's what that one was, but no, it's a second video that's even cheesier and even more scripted. Oh yeah, this is the one. I gotta make it bigger and then we'll watch it. Is anyone falling for this? Or is people thinking this is a bit tone deaf? Opportunist says maybe it's a musician and it'll be the same because Juno winners are all live in the US. Yeah, the more they do this, all these celebrities are in the US. I think the only one that's still in Canada is Justin Bieber, and I don't think he's a Carney fan. But let's see.
Let's go. Mr. Prime Minister,
Mike Myers, what are you doing here?
I just thought I'd come up and check on things.
You live in the States,
Yeah, but I'll always be Canadian.
but you live in the States.
Yeah, so?
Do you remember Mr. Dress Up?
The children's show on CBC?
What were the names of Mr. Dress Up's two puppet friends?
Casey and Finnegan?
Bud the
Spud?
Howie,
Meeker?
capital of Saskatchewan,
Regina?
tragically.
Hip?
You're a defenseman defending a 2-on-1. What do you do?
Take away the pass, obviously.
What are the two seasons in Toronto?
Winter and construction?
Wow. You really are Canadian.
Yeah. But let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right. Elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's so cheesy. The funny thing too is they're doing elbows up. Do you know what elbows up means? It means you're getting ready for a fight. It's so lame. And the funny thing is, yeah, David says, so did Carney up until 2 months ago. Carney lived in the UK for the last 10 years. It's just like the Harris campaign. It is. So this was released a few days ago before he called an election. So this was well, this video, it's not the one that was originally released, but there was one earlier on. And Mark Carney had posted this photo too, but I don't know where it is. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you guys. It made it look like it was like a chance encounter where they didn't think that people would realize this was staged. I'm just looking at the other ones here. March 22nd, I think, was when it was posted. So a couple of days ago. So before the election was called. So when they did that video, they already knew the election because there's another video that was filmed later on that afternoon. But I kind of find it funny. I'm getting a text from my husband. I'm just going to see if he's answered. He said, sure. Okay, so we've got everything we need, so it should work. I will see if I can get it going. Opportunist says, I like that we don't know Justin Bieber's political pick, better that way. Yeah, honestly, the man's a strong Christian, so he's not going to support the liberals. They're very, very anti-Christian. So I doubt that would be it. But he's not saying, and I actually don't want him to do an endorsement for Pierre, even if he supports Pierre, because I just think it's cheesy. I think we should care about who runs our country, not by which celebrity tells us who to vote for. The Mark Carney Myers is such low energy. I know, by both of them. You know what it would have been good? Like better, in my opinion. I think about marketing and stuff. I see that and I see it's so lame. It's so boring. It's so cringe. But if he had like gone into character, like Mike Myers gone into character while doing this, that would have made it more fun, more higher energy. But it's not like that case at all. Okay, let's see what else I got. Okay, this is a video too. I think it's one of the first videos he launched after he announced that he was once he announced the election.
The fundamental reason why I care about the economy and liberals care about the economy is because I and we care about people. Canada has given me everything. And in return, I'm ready to give everything to Canada.
Everything worse to Canada, maybe. Here, where is it? I want to share this tweet. This is the record of the Liberals for the last 10 years. We're right at the bottom. LUX is worse than us. Who's LUX? Let's see. LUX country. If you guys know, let me know. I'm trying to. Luxembourg is LUX. So they're worse off than us. But they're pretending that they care about the economy now. This is after them for the last 10 years. And the thing is, their government hasn't changed. The people that are going to be in charge of the platform are the same people. It's the same cabinet, 87% the same. I'm laughing because it's comical that that's what they're pushing. Okay, so then Mark Carney had an event, I guess, released an event or whatever, what's it called? A campaign event, his first campaign event. He chose to go to Newfoundland for that. And he had about 200 people. I have a picture. I got to find it here. And then I'll share it with you guys. Yeah, here it is. Day one. Picks very different stories. So 2 picks, very different story. Prime Minister Mark Carney launches in St. John, Newfoundland to a crowd of 200 to 300 people in a Liberal-held safe seat. Right, opposition leader Pierre Poilievre addresses a crowd of 2,400 in North York, Ontario, an area that's a political dogfight. So these are the two pictures. That's Pierre's event, and that's Mark Carney. But there's something also that was being talked about in, oh shoot, yeah, I almost skipped it. It's that there was a protest outside of Mark Carney's event. So we'll play this video here. And it was fishermen's protesting. There's a picture of it too. Actually, let's do the picture of it first, and then I'll play the video. Where did it go? Someone said, looks like there's more outside protesting Mark Carney than the 200 to 300 inside listening to him. But there was a picture posted by Raven News that I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. That's how many were protesting outside. She did share some words. In a powerful display of solidarity, fishermen across Newfoundland and Labrador have gathered to block the entrance of the building where Mark Carney announced his candidacy for the upcoming federal election. This protest comes on the heels of alarming news regarding significant reduction in fishing quotas, which have nearly halved their income. So from what I'm thinking too, it's not just the quota. They're also very much affected by the China tariffs. The seafood industry is affected by the China tariffs, so it wouldn't shock me if that was part of it. But you don't see, it's not mentioned here, but that, again, that would have an impact as well. Fishing has long been the backbone of Newfoundland and Labrador, with many families relying on this industry for generations. Legacy fishermen who have spent decades on the water are now facing unprecedented challenges that threaten their livelihood and the very culture of our coastal communities. As we stand at a crossroad, it's crucial to rally behind our fishermen and advocate for the support they desperately need. The fisheries are not just an economic resources, they are the heart and soul of our province. Let's unite to protect this vital industry that has shaped our identity and sustained our families for generation. And then there's we love our fishermen is the tag. There is a video of the event that Canada Proud shared. I'll open it up bigger so you guys can see. Oh my, missed a lot of comments. Sorry, for some reason it wasn't pulling up. I'll get to the comments after. Let's play this video.
I don't think so. Gloucester's no, we're not gonna open the door anymore. No. Okay, not for anybody, because we're starting to go to the main entrance there now. If you have one of the buildings in there now, but 20 Russians out of it. 20? Yeah, definitely. So, yeah.
So those are the people outside protesting.
Oh, yeah, they want to get in, yeah. I don't think so. Gloucester's no.
That's a lot of people outside. Okay, let's get to some of the comments. Somebody commented that it was Gordie Howe that came up with elbows up phrase on another podcast. Brenda says, bumped into each other and happened to be wearing matching jersey. Joe says, we are so impressed, Mike Myers. Ooh. DJ says, liberals care about the economy since when? I know, right? Melissa says, normally I'd say don't give up your day job, boys. Give up on the comedy. But in this case, I say, please do, Carney. LV says, cringe and weird like Tim Walz adds trying to appeal to masculine men. Bonnie says, that's right. Look through first of COVID. The celebrities pushed it. No political views from them. Another pathological liar, pitiful. Luxembourg. Okay. Oh, so this was a while ago. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Stephanie says, I saw that police locked them out. Sorry if I'm skipping some. Opportunist says they would have yelled some stuff and then calmed down. Carney's such a softie. Bunny says she saw that he phoned police to lock doors on fishermen couldn't come in. Rory asks, is it true that Carney just dropped out of the French debate? I haven't seen anything about that. Have you guys? Opportunist said he should have known and had answer solution for that issue. Why even go there at all with no plan? Exactly. Michelle says, yes, he did. I'm going to see if I can find something about that. There was one video where the fishermen were inside asking for a meeting with the fisheries minister. David says, like Danielle says, her resources are provincial jurisdiction. So too should be Newfoundland fisheries. The feds have moved into provincial jurisdiction. So what exactly is the case? Did they just shut down lowered the amount of quota? Is that it? I think fisheries is a federal jurisdiction because it affects other provinces. Is it not? Fisheries and oceans, that's a federal jurisdiction. Brenda says, yes, only CBC and Radio Canada allowed interviews. At the event? Let's see what else I've got here. There's a few videos by Pierre. I'm just trying to see. Okay, that was a repeat. Let's do this one. This was the event that Pierre had.
And the father looked at him and said, well,
it's a 2-minute, 30-second. Brenda says, fisheries quotas have been cut in half, apparently. I wonder if it has to do with the China tariffs, the 100% tariffs on seafood. Not sure. I'm gonna Google it while you guys watch this.
a father and a son sitting in a park on a bench, and the son said, Dad, what is an income tax form? And the father looked at him and said, well, son, it's the opposite of your report card. The better you do, the more you get punished. It's the fine you pay for the crime of working hard.
And that's on top of all the other taxes you pay. There's the GST and PST and HST, capital gains tax, the carbon tax on top of the gas tax, property tax, payroll tax, tax on imports, tax on exports, sin tax. The list goes on. When you add it all up, Canadians spend more on tax than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. And after the lost Liberal decade, the government is taking more of your paycheck than ever before. Most of these Liberal tax hikes happened while Mark Carney was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor. Now Carney proposes billions of dollars of additional spending that will mean even higher taxes for you. Electing the Liberals to a fourth term will only make your tax bill go up. Today, as we kick off the election, I'm announcing that common sense Conservatives will cut income taxes by 15% for the average Canadian. The average Canadian earns $57,000. A couple, each making the average income, will save $1,800. The average worker will save $900. But because we'll cut the rate on the lowest income bracket, everyone who pays income tax will pay less of it. As a percentage, modest income people will save the most. This means you'll keep more of your paycheck and hard work will pay off. Seniors will pay less tax on their retirement income. Welders, waitresses, and other workers will keep more of their tips and paychecks. We'll free up money for this tax cut by eliminating waste, cutting bureaucracy and consultants, and capping spending with a dollar for dollar law. Lowering income tax is part of my Bring It Home tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building. I call it the Bring It Home tax cut because Canada will bring home more business and investment, and you will bring home more of what you earn. We know that tax cuts create jobs, and that will help build Canada's economic fortress against American threats. It will allow consumers to spend more money supporting local businesses while rewarding hard work that makes everyone better off. So that dad in the park can tell his boy that when he grows up and works hard, he will keep his paycheck and earn a great life, buy a beautiful home on a safe street protected by brave soldiers under a proud flag. Canada first, for a change. Let's bring it home.
So I just want to, I'm going to put that back. I want to play something here.
Cut on work, invest.
Okay. Have you guys noticed when Mark Carney goes and does speaking events at businesses or whatever industry areas, you see him and then he does his press conference and talks to the media and answers questions to the media. You don't see him having like good conversations with some of the people there. Pierre, it's almost like he's one of them. So he goes there and he talks to every single one of them. And there's smiles everywhere. You didn't see that at the one that that Mark Carney was at. Was it in Edmonton? No, he goes there to his podium and speaks. And that doesn't even shake the hands of any of them there. And if you look at Pierre, everywhere he goes, he shakes the hands of everyone there. But it's not just that. Look how they are with him. They all surround him. They all like joke with him. Like he fits in with the people. Yeah, look at that.
Businesses while
that's the difference when you have a prime minister who's for themselves and the global elites. And yeah, like Michelle Curry says, he's cold. And then you have a prime minister who's for the people, who's for the working people, who shows up and helps and tries to learn more about them. One of the things that impressed me the most about Pierre, I was at an event in Saskatoon. He wasn't there at this event, but there was another MP that was there, and I can't remember his name. He's from Alberta, and he did a speech before we went. It's a riverboat tour event. But he did a speech before we went. And in that speech, he said, if you're wondering if there's policies that you guys like that Pierre is announcing, Pierre didn't come up with all of those. He came up with the best kinds of policies that the Canadian wants the most by listening to them. So if you've been to any Pierre Poilievre's event, they'll do like after the event, he'll shake the hand and listen to what people have to say out of anyone who wants to stay and shake his hand. I was at one in Calgary, and I think it was like 4 hours long. He was shaking the hands of everyone who attended. There was another one in Saskatoon, did the same thing. And it wasn't just shake hand, get a photo and go. It was, he listened to what you had to say. So I found that really impressive. Not only was he listening to people, learning more about what Canadians want, he was also implementing that and not even taking the glory for himself. So, Rory said the guy who didn't shake Carney's hand name is John B on X. Yeah, I did follow him. I don't know if he followed me back, but we'll see if he does. I'm going to see if he'll come on the show. That would be a fun guest to have on the show. David says, I think the unions will back Pierre Poilievre this time around. Brenda says, the construction worker said he was told to be there, but he refused to shake MC's hand. I'm going to see if I might have saved it, actually. Let's see if I saved it. Here. It's so weird. When I was trying to search it, I wanted to open Grok, but usually I can open it on the other screen, but I had to log in and it was making it more difficult, but let's see if I can find it here. I thought I had saved it. I didn't go through my bookmarks today. Usually I go through my bookmarks and oh, there's a video I want to play. Here, copy. This was Poilievre's event. Let's play this one quickly while I search for a shock pilot. This is the line for Poilievre's event. It just doesn't end. You're like, okay, the line is going and going. It's done now. I was trying to find the, but it's not there. Let's see. I just realized there's another video I want to play later. That was bookmark. Oh, this is a 24-minute. I'm not going to play that one where he announced he was going to cut the tax. I thought it was just a clip. This was an interesting post here. 2015 to 2025, liberal progress. Worst housing affordability ever, skyrocketing national debt, rampant inflation, homelessness in tent cities, violent crime rates soaring, opioids death on the rise, healthcare system breakdown, bank account freeze during protests, ethics scandals, censorship of citizens, food bank use at record high, excessive government spending, 25-year high interest rate, reckless immigration policy. There's so many things we could add to that list, but that was one of the things that I had saved. I'm getting a call from Calgary, but I don't know who it is. I'm just going to ignore it. But yeah, remember I said the difference in the video between, sorry if you guys are hearing a weird noise through the mic, that my phone is ringing. I'll call them back later. But the same thing, you can kind of see it in the videos. This is what David Jacobs says. Carney and Poilievre are two different, very different politicians. Carney seems focused on what the role of prime minister can do for him. Poilievre seems focused on what he can do for the people as prime minister. Like every policy, everything he does is focused on that. I was trying to see what else I've got. This video I want to play. It wasn't on my list, but I'm going to put it here. Give me a sec. I'm going to play. I have to make it bigger so you guys can hear what he says. Let's see.
So I thought I'd share a little bit of farmer math today. This is a 5,000 bushel bin of canola that I harvested last fall. Now, at current values at the elevator right now, this bin is worth $62,500. You're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of money, right? The problem is that on my farm, the cost of production on this bin of canola was $65,000. So at the current values that we're getting right now at the elevator, I am selling this canola at a loss. Now, this is a direct result of tariffs that have been introduced against Canada that our federal government doesn't seem to want to acknowledge or do anything about. Now, we don't want handouts as farmers. We just want these tariffs resolved, like at least try to do something about it. we're hurting out here. We need something. So if you could please at least react to it and show us that you at least care about what's going on in Western Canada with this canola, that would be nice.
Let's see if they have done anything about it. Let's just search. Let's see if Mark Carney has said anything. Let's do a quick search. Yeah, no, sir, nothing for Mark Carney. Let's see, Pierre. I think this is a mistake by Pierre. Nothing. Let's do latest and see just to make sure. Nope, nothing. This is what another thing I wanted to share with you guys. I do have a video too. So I'll play the video after, but I'll share this tweet. Canada Proud says Mark Carney has hired former BlackRock manager Mark Wiseman, co-founder of the Century Initiative, as an advisor. The Century Initiative is a lobbying group which aims to use mass immigration to increase Canada's population to 100 million people. Something that a lot of people don't know, one of the ways they try to increase our GDP is by having a huge influx of immigration. So population growth can increase the GDP. Or the economy can boost the economy. The problem is when you're not increasing other things like housing and stuff, it brings its own problem, like the healthcare. Kind of everything that's falling apart right now is because we had such growth in population, not by birth, but by immigration. So, and we've had, I think, 1.8 million, I think it was in the last year or in the last 2 years. So I'll see if I can find the numbers to be more exact. But here's Mark Carney hiring someone who has like very extreme ideology as an advisor. But there's a video. Pierre Poilievre talks about this here. I'll just make it bigger and you guys can hear it. It's just a 20-second clip.
By bringing on Mr. Wiseman, it shows that Mark Carney supports the Liberal Century Initiative to nearly triple our population to 100 million people. We voted against the Century Initiative in the House of Commons, and the Liberals voted for the Century Initiative unanimously. That is the radical Liberal agenda on immigration. By bringing on...
I didn't know they had voted on this. No, Pierre's done, I didn't have it up again. Pierre's done a promise for immigration. Let's see if I can find it. To reduce immigration. I saw it like on someone's post, but I didn't see the video of Pierre saying it, but let's see. Here's a 2-minute video. Okay, here's a good video. I'll show you guys the post first because I think it's a really good post by Pierre. It says Mark Carney's new advisor, Mark Wiseman, wants Canada to balloon to 100 million people by 2100. In 75 years. Another reason Liberal, I won't be alive by then, but it's a continuous bill. Another reason Liberals do not deserve a fourth term. Conservatives oppose this Liberal Century Initiative. We will cap immigration levels so we always add jobs, homes, and doctors faster than we add people, which again, I'm not against immigration. I'm actually pro-immigration when it's positive for the country, when it's bringing in more positive than having negative effects for the country. Unfortunately, we've had the opposite of positive, bringing it positive things. It's increased the cost of living, it's increased the cost of housing, it's increased so many things. It's made our healthcare system stretch to the max. Actually, it's not even keeping up right now with the demand. It's not, we're not even close to keeping up. It's more than stretched. But let's see if I'll play this video for you guys. Yeah, and sorry, I didn't have all of this prepared, I guess, because I didn't know I was going to be talking about this, but I'll see if I can find what it is that they announced. I think it was 200,000, cap at 200,000, 100,000 to 200,000, I think. Yeah, David, the word I'm looking for is sensible immigration.
Earlier this week, Mark Carney added Mark Wiseman to his list of advisors on Canada-U.S. relations. Mark Wiseman was the co-founder of the Century Initiative, a lobby group that wants to bring Canada's population to 100 million people by 2100. Can I get your reaction to that? And what do you think, how do you feel about the idea of rapidly expanding Canada's population to reach 100 million by the end of the century?
Well, it shows that the Liberals would be no different in a fourth term than they were in the first three. The Liberals destroyed our immigration system in their first three terms in power. They followed a radical globalist ideology of massive, uncontrolled population growth that put strain on our housing market, our healthcare, and our job market. Now, corporate elites like Mr. Wiseman and Mr. Carney loved it because it drives wages down. It takes jobs away from our workers in numbers that we can't replace by growth in the job market. But it's terrible for our working class. By bringing on Mr. Wiseman, it shows that Mark Carney supports the Liberal Century Initiative to nearly triple our population to 100 million people. We voted against the Century Initiative in the House of Commons, and the Liberals voted for the Century Initiative unanimously. That is the radical Liberal agenda on immigration. We will get back to moderate, reasonable levels of immigration. Our country was built by common sense immigration, but we need to ensure we grow the housing supply, our healthcare, and our jobs faster than we grow our population. And so I will reject the Century Initiative and get back to common sense immigration that brings people to Canada in numbers that we can hire, that we can house, and that we can care for. That was the best immigration system in the world, and we're going to bring it home again.
I think that's the common sense approach. Earlier, we were watching the video, I was looking at the comments, and Albert Rowan, thanks for watching, Albert. When do you return to Canada? But he's in South Africa right now. But Albert said, that's not social distancing. I think he's talking. I think it was when we were showing the lineup at Pierre Poilievre's event. I'm so done with social distancing. I want community again. Okay, good guy says, hi, my first time here. I am in Canada for 17 years now, and it's only last year I decided to apply for citizenship just to vote for Pierre Poilievre. I'm super excited. Such a positive. That's such a positive comment. Rory says, isn't it wild that nobody has really spoken about the Chinese tariff? It's all about Trump. I know. I'm still shocked by that. I actually called my MP's office and I said, why isn't Pierre addressing this? Why isn't anyone talking about this? I think so far the only ones who have are Scott Moe and Barlow, MP Barlow. I think he's out of Alberta. Oh, there's so many comments. I'm going to have to skip some. Sorry, guys. Bunny says, yes, they are more worried about Trump than what's going on with tariffs in China and what's going on in Canada. Because it's the divisive issue of this election. Remember last year, the election was all about, not last year, the last election was all about COVID, and they were spreading fear, and they're the only ones who can deal with COVID. They're the only ones, like, it's the same thing. Bunny says, Mark Carney, the World Economic Forum puppet. Firecracker says Mark Wiseman. I couldn't remember. I watched so much. There's so much stuff out there. I still haven't watched Canada the Illusion. It's on my list. Pierre said he will cap immigration as it was in Harper era, which was around 250K every year. Like, we can't stop all immigration because then we'll have population collapse because we're not reproducing at the rate that we need to sustain Canada. So immigration is needed. I would rather we open up immigration to countries who have similar values as us so that we don't lose the values and culture system that we have in Canada. Okay. David says Maxine is out there on US podcast saying that PP is for mass immigration and is just like the liberals. He can lie and get no pushback. No, it's true. I've been seeing that. He's been lying about Pierre. Even the other, like, the supporters are some of the worst too for lying about Pierre. I've seen like memes and stuff done, and like half of what they have in there is complete lies. The WEF Gestapo want to turn the Western world into a third world country. That's their goal. It's intentional and all by design. Bankrupt the countries and then they can control them. Albert says, yes, community and common sense immigration, please. Yeah. Albert, you're an immigrant. I haven't yet. I did open the email, but I haven't read it yet. Ooh, Rory, did you say that? Moet is allowing American liquor back into Sask. Is it a question or has he announced that? I actually have a tweet ready to go this afternoon because I had one going viral already this morning. I didn't want to post it yet. Sometimes they can affect like the algorithm on X. I'll read it out to you guys. You've heard it here first. Where did it go? Where? It was something like this, like when politicians make like rash and emotional decisions without considering all the stakeholders, like the American liquor ban, they affect Canadian stakeholders. So like farmers, did you guys know that 50% of the barley that we make or that we harvest goes to the US, and it represents about 95% of the barley imports out of from the US. So a lot of the US produces barley too, but 50% of our production goes to the US and that's malt barley. So it's specifically for beer. And so when he put a beer ban on American beer or an alcohol ban on American beer, that directly affects Saskatchewan farmers. So not only are we affected now with canola, now malt barley is another one that the price is going to radically go down. A woman this morning who said, oh, I think you're describing someone, a woman who said that the equalization payment we make are just right-wing propaganda. Yeah, I know, right? There's so many that are so uninformed. This is another video. Let's play this one.
Today,
This was this morning. Andrew Scheer shared this one. He also said a post. Let's see what he wrote in the post. Mark Carney will not deliver change. He supports the same disastrous Trudeau policy that made Canada weaker and Canadians poorer. Carney's cabinet is almost entirely made up of Trudeau ministers. Same people plus same policies equals same results. Vote for real change. Vote Conservative. Let's see what the video says. I have a lot of videos today.
Today, the Liberals are asking for a fourth term in power. After swapping Justin Trudeau for his economic advisor and hand-picked successor, Mark Carney. But after the lost Liberal decade, the question is whether Canadians can afford a fourth Liberal term. After these out-of-touch Liberals inflated housing costs, drove up the cost of food, pushed 2 million people to food banks, unleashed crime on our streets, ruined our immigration system, blocked our resources, sent $500 billion to the United States, and made our economy more reliant on the Americans than ever before? Or is it time to put Canada first for a change with a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, honor hard work, build homes, cut taxes, lock up criminals, secure our borders, unleash resources to bring home our jobs, and stand up to Donald Trump from a position of strength?
I like those words more than the way he usually says it, standing up to Trump. I like that he added from a position of strength. I did a tweet yesterday. I just got to switch screens again. There you go. It's not on the usual. I said Canadians are being brainwashed to hate and fear Trump and the US the same way they were brainwashed to fear COVID. The same stuff is being used. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all the people saying, oh, I'm not traveling to Canada. I've canceled my trip because it's too dangerous to go to Canada. They're going to arrest us and lock us up and send us to Venezuela or El Salvador. Have you seen some of those posts? And I'm like, how do you... Where do you even get that from? It's the same as people saying, oh, I'm not going to leave my house. Like, to me, it gives the same energy as bringing your grocery home and wiping them with Lorax. Like wiping them with disinfectant wipes. Like, that's the same energy. I'm going to cancel my trip to Disneyland because the US is going to put me in jail in El Salvador. Like, if you're on X, you're probably seeing some of these posts. I just find it so unreal. It's so ridiculous. But that's or the same people who says we're going to take up arms because the US is going to come invade Canada with their army, or it's the same energy. I just find it so insane. But there's people out there who actually think these things. Have you guys seen what I'm talking about? Okay, I have to find another video. I'm reading some comments here. Firecracker's going to find a video he thinks I'll find interesting. He said no one is talking about Firecracker. If you're on X, send it to me on X, because you can put it in the comments of the video on X, because I can grab stuff in the comments, but not like right now in the live, I can't. But if you comment on the post that's on my profile on X, that I'll be able to find. I'll be able to feature it. Okay.
Today, the Liberals are asking for...
What else do I have? This is the line video. I already posted that. I think. No, this is one.
Well,
it's another video. I'll share the post first because David Jacob wrote some comments. I want you to listen very carefully to what Carney is saying about emissions cap. He hides the truth in complexity. His answer is also filled with falsehood. It's astonishing how brazen he is. To spare you sifting through this, I've broken it down in clips. So let's watch these.
CBC News. You appeared to suggest yesterday that you're open to moving away from the federal government's emissions cap, while your environment minister said that the cap will remain in place. Can you explain what your approach will be to the emissions cap, and specifically how it will be determined and what will inform your decision?
Well, there's two things, or there's several things here. First, I'm a pragmatist, so I'm focused on, as the government is, on getting emissions down from the production and transportation of conventional oil and gas. Okay, that's good for the environment. It ultimately will be good for the competitiveness of those producers and the distribution of that. So that's the objective, is to get down. Now, there is a role for an emissions cap, and again, emissions cap, not a production cap, but an emissions cap. I know you didn't say it, but just to be clear, because some twisted. There is a role for an emissions cap within that. But what's required in order to get those emissions down, the emissions intensity down of the production that we can see growing, particularly if Canadian oil and gas is displacing American oil and gas that we're importing right now in Eastern Canada. What's required is investment. Investment in carbon capture and storage technology, investment in reducing methane, fugitive methane, methane flame, other aspects, et cetera. What's required is investment. And what happened in, I can't remember where the room is, whether it was there or over there, somewhere around here where the room was, is, and what I was referring to earlier, what the federal government is doing, is putting in place the framework so that that investment is going to happen more quickly. So my focus, and where I took my response the other day, is around how are we going to make that investment happen. So the cap is there. The issue is getting the investments down. How are we going to get them down? I'm focused on that. We're making progress in unlocking that. We need to continue to work on it.
Now, this was a thread, so I'm going to see if I can find the other one. Carney states that reducing emission from production and distribution of oil and gas will increase their competitiveness. That's simply not true. 97% of Canadian oil and gas is consumed by the US, which has no emissions-based barrier to trade. Which we don't need to play the video, but I guess it's short. You just won't be able to hear it. Carney goes on to say that what's required is investment. He talks about investment in carbon capture. What he doesn't talk about is investment in pipeline, LNG, exporting plants, or oil refineries. His focus remained on reducing emissions, not increasing production. Carney finishes by saying that an emissions cap is there, and the urgent problem is decreasing emissions. Carney is making emissions reduction a problem that needs to be solved prior to expanding production. The barrier is false, and the goalpost that he will continue. The barrier is false, and a goalpost that he will continue to move. So, anyways, a good tweet by David Jacob. I don't agree with everything that man says during COVID. I didn't agree with a lot of what he was saying, but I agree with that. And that's the thing. If we put all these barriers on production of oil and gas here in Canada, when there's no barriers in the US where we sell most of it, where there's no barriers in the biggest polluters like China, India, not India, the Middle East as well, that produced oil and gas, the only thing it's going to do is going to affect our economy, our oil and gas production. The biggest thing that we should do is open more pipelines and get our product to market in other countries so they're buying from ours, which is produced in a more ethical and cleaner way than the Middle East, than China. But that's not what they're doing, because they have this mindset, this goal of ending all emission, moving everything to electricity, whether it's wind, solar. They want to move all of that and have no oil and gas production. And a lot of people don't understand, when we have revenue in Canada from oil and gas, that's revenue that can be used and put into healthcare, education, all of that. It goes right back into helping serve Albertans and helping serve Canadians. A lot of people don't realize a lot of that revenue gets transferred through all of Canada through transfer payments. Oh, there's a lot of comments. And Squirrels says, why would anyone want to invest in something that doesn't make anyone money? No, exactly. Not only does it not make money, it stops investment from coming into Canada to take the oil. Like any big company like that, like Chevron and Shell, all of them, the companies. Oh, there's more names. Let me know what the big oil company are in Alberta. I'm just having a brain brain fart. If it, there, not Chevron. What's the name of that? That's in the States. I can think of the logos, but anyways, they're not going to come and do more production in Canada. They're going to go to the States where it's open. Exxon, is it Exxon? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Oh, there's so many comments. You guys are talking to each other too. I'm trying not to get too distracted. But yeah, less oil and gas production means that less money for hospital, less money for schools, less money, less prosperity for Canada. So while the US GDP is going to keep going up, 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 Canada's going to stay stagnant the way it has. Albert, yes, now that's an idea. Like Albert Rowan says, regenerative farming can capture all of the carbon and put it where it belongs in the soil. Then we can extract as much oil and gas and be carbon negative, and Canadians will be wealthy. It's so true. If we were to build like massive greenhouses near processing plants and stuff, we could use that carbon back and put it back into the greenhouses. But not only that, the more carbon there are on the earth, the more things grow. We've had times in history where carbon was much, much greater. So David says sacrificing quality of life for green BS. And green energy is not necessarily what everyone plays it out to be. My husband's family farm is in Alberta in the Badlands. They call it the Alberta version of the Badlands. And it's in special areas. So it's special areas in the dirty 30s. So in the 1930s, a lot of farmers just left. They went bankrupt because the dirt was basically like flying away. That's when you get all the heat records and stuff too in the 1930s. So a lot of the farmers in that area went bankrupt, and a lot of the, I don't know if it's called rural municipalities. That's what we have in Saskatchewan. I don't know what it's called in Alberta. Someone here might know, but the town RM or whatever you call it went bankrupt, and special areas was kind of taken over by the government, and now the area is just called special areas. I think there's 4. Anyways, my husband's family farm. Counties. Okay, Neil says it's counties. So the county went bankrupt and it became special areas. So my husband's family farm is there, and they brought in the last 5 years, probably more in the last 2 years they've been built. And there's wind turbines everywhere. And if you don't live by one, just so you know, it emits like low vibration, you go outside, you can actually hear them. It's not, I don't think it should be anywhere near where people live. And because of that, like I've said before, I'll never want to live in that area, which in the past maybe we would have considered it when the kids were older, and we could have moved there and taken over the farm and farmed there, which we might still take over the farm and farm there. And once his dad passes away, but I don't think we'll live at the farm. We'll probably live further away where there's no wind turbines. Green energy is a hoax, Firecracker says, in order to put more money into the people who like to be called elitist pockets. Sasky Freedom says counties. So that's the name of it. Yeah, counties. I wasn't sure. Okay. I told you guys I wasn't going to do a full on episode, but I did it a lot longer than I thought. So I'm going to see if I can prep and get things ready for tonight for Jonathan. He said yes, but don't like wait up for us in case it doesn't end up happening. But Maria says, "Dang it. I got distracted busting us off of my metal roof and sidewalk to help the water. Oh, busting snow off. Yeah." You missed the show. We're probably going to do one again tonight. I did some groceries today, so I have a lot of food prepping to do this afternoon. Albert suggests I watch the documentary Common Ground. The end result is very healthy food, carbon negative, and free gas. Huh. Send me the link, Albert. Neil says they put them up near Chavin where it's sandy and they are leaning. Oh, really? Yeah, people don't know how they're made. Like for the most part, like people don't understand how much carbon goes into making the windmills, and not just the windmills, the base for it. There's like truckloads after truckloads after truckloads being hauled to make the base for it so it doesn't tip over or fall over. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. If you don't follow, subscribe, do all of the things, like, subscribe, comment. And even if you want to go comment after the show is done, for some reason on YouTube, it doesn't show the comments after the show under the post. It only shows it during the post. So if you want to do that, that helps spread it. I will be back tomorrow as well for an episode, but probably tonight. We're going to see. I'm already all dolled up for it. Might as well do it tonight. But I'll make sure it doesn't interfere with Clyde Do Something's episode. I'll ask him how long he plans his to be. And then yeah, because I think Frank Vaughn is going on his show. Is it tonight? David, you said? I think you said tonight. And then yeah. Oh, Albert texted me the link. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow and potentially tonight.